channel. In my second video, all in the spirit of falling into fall, I thought I'd share with you 3 audiobooks that I got from my local library today to help me get through all my autumn reading, especially as I will be filming a Victober TBR soon. So my autumn reading is compiled of a few different readathons and books I want to read, and these 3, well, 2 of them, if you're being strict, are all books by Victorian authors. So I'm going to listen to those to accompany my reading that is slightly out of my comfort zone. Firstly, I have Lewis Carroll's Alice in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass. This is compiled only on 3 discs, although that can be deceiving if these are MP3 discs, I'm not sure. But I'm hoping to get through these quite quickly. These are, of course, Lewis Carroll's children's stories about Alice and how she follows this rabbit into a hole in the earth that brings her to a whole nother world and dimension. I think most people are familiar with the story, but I've never actually read it, and I think listening to children's stories on audio is actually something I quite often enjoy a little bit more because I am more free to wonder. I do sort of lose track and stop paying attention sometimes while listening to audiobooks, and with children's stories sometimes that's not such a big deal. So I am looking forward to listening to this. Next, I have The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes by Arthur Conan Doyle. This was first published in 1892 and is a collection of short stories of Sherlock Holmes. I have never read any of the short stories or any of the novels, but I think this is quite a good introduction because the short stories can all be enjoyed independently. The only common theme, I believe, is that Sherlock Holmes and his friend and partner Watson show up in every single one, and this should be a good one to listen to if I don't have loads of time to devote at a time, I guess. I think in all this is around 8 hours, and this might be a good dog walking audiobook when I'm, sorry to say, I sometimes get a bit bored with having to do that every day. And then by Arthur Conan Doyle as well, I have The Lost World, which, if you're going to be strict about it, is not a Victorian novel. At least it wasn't published in the period that ends in 1901, and this was published in 1912, so doesn't count anymore. But it is an author that is often also listed as a Victorian author, although he is quite unusual because he does, of course, do the Sherlock Holmes, the crime novels, the sort of more fantasy stories like The Lost World is, which is the inspiration to the Jurassic Park movies, which I think is really fun. I've seen some of the Jurassic Park movies, the old ones, and enjoyed them, and I'm curious to see how this works on audio and also how it worked as a book published more than 100 years ago. So I am really looking forward to this one, even though it's slightly cheating and not really a contender for Victober. So those 3 I am all hoping to listen to in the next month because they are from the library. Of course, I have a bit more of an incentive to actually get to listen to them because I always feel bad for prolonging the time I have them from the library again and again and again, taking them away from others. I'm expecting all of these to be good picks because they aren't sort of heavy hitters, and I can listen to them hopefully just sort of a half hour at a time. I hope you are enjoying coming up with the books that you are going to listen to next month, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye!